everybody, and welcome back to the Engaging Educator. Oh my goodness, it has been months since I have done anything on this YouTube channel, and part of me thought about letting the YouTube channel go. Part of me thought, did I actually delete this channel because I forgot? And the other part was like, no, I'm gonna keep going. I actually looked at it today and my summer content was a little bit on point, so I'm gonna keep going. So a lot has happened, a lot has changed. And obviously we're in the middle of a huge pandemic, so that has changed the way we view education right now. So if you've never watched me before, my name is Courtney. I am an educator currently living in Minnesota. I started this channel in the summer as I was transitioning in two ways. I moved from Nevada to Minnesota, and then I also went from administration back into the classroom. And so I was kind of tracking that journey. What does it look like to apply out of state? I was tracking my setup of the classroom, professional development, all those pieces that come to the beginning of the year. And I stopped just shy of the first day of school. And there's a really good reason for that. So let's see, let's start in September. Okay, so our school year started in September. And I am currently teaching second grade at a smaller district in Minnesota. I absolutely love the school, although it had to grow on me a little bit. I think that I underestimated what it meant to move across country and how different schools are, how different establishing roots are again. And so that was a major learning curve for me. So school started in September on my birthday, September 3rd. I was hopeful, energetic. The kids were cute and little and sweet. And I felt like, wow, I really am teaching younger kids. So in my experience, I have taught, I did student teaching in kindergarten. I've done a first, second grade split. I've taught third grade and I've taught fifth grade. And then I was dean of students. So the last classroom setting I was in, it was fifth grade. And one of the first experiences I had was in second grade. And so it's been a large span since I'd worked with youngsters. But I came to Minnesota employed with a different district and really did not mesh with their philosophy once I got here. Luckily, I was able to find the smaller district. And I was like, I like this district. I'm going to take whatever grade they have available because I felt like it was sort of meant to be. So that's what we did. Okay, so starting in September, I was trying to figure out how to navigate the classroom with younger kids. I needed to get my bearings back again on that. And I believe that I did. So I really started by digging into some of my foundational skills of just the basics of education, classroom management, and understanding just younger students and the students of this generation. So the school I was teaching at and was dean at was a very much an affluent school. Not that there aren't problems at every school, behavior-wise and social-emotional-wise, but it seems like Minnesota is very in tune with the social-emotional needs of students now. And so I have a few kids in my class that are dealing with some trauma, and in the school as a whole, we try to be trauma-informed. So that was sort of a new piece for me. And so I needed to get my bearings. I had a moment in October where I thought I was going to fall apart because the kids were not where I needed them to be behaviorally. And I came in very trepidatious and apprehensive of what kind of discipline I should have. I know my style, which is tough love, hard nose, strict expectations. You will get love, but we had to get this, this, and this in order first. And I wasn't sure how the school would receive that. So I spoke to a coworker around October, maybe into September, and I was like, I'm losing my mind every day. I'm saying the same things. I got a couple of really extreme behaviors. Can I go in? And I love that he knew what I meant, because what I meant was, no, this is what we're not going to do. Here are the clear expectations. don't think that I'm nice, because I'm not. Like, I will love you. We will get through this, but you have to follow my path. You have to do the things that I need you to do. And that was a huge turning point for the classroom. And I snagged them, I think, just in time before it could have been a back and forth all year. And I'm really glad that I did, because I would have gone crazy if I didn't. I gave myself a lot of grace though, because I kind of felt like as a previous dean, my job was behavior. And I found myself with some of the same kids that I was trying to help other teachers with, and using techniques that I had thought of in theory, but never had a chance to work on with kids. And I was like, man, everybody needs to get back in the classroom. So I'm really glad that I was able to understand students and understand the strategies for behavior management that I would use as an administrator and tweak those, because it's one thing to give somebody a chart or a sticker chart or all of these theoretical ideas. It's a whole nother thing when that kid is in your classroom all day. My school is very accommodating to behaviors, I'll say that. And so a student could have a really rough day, and they're going to be your student and in your classroom the whole day. It's really rare that a student is removed from your classroom for an extended period of time. So having to understand that took a lot of time. So that is where my focus has been. I've been focusing on my own kids, also just getting them prepared, and not so much prepared, but just getting them adjusted to their new setting. My oldest went to 6th grade. Her school is amazing. She's loving it. A lot more responsibility on her plate, and I've always been at her school with her, so it's a lot different that she is completely on her own now. And then my youngest is in 1st grade, and she is with me, doing well, and we will probably put her in the neighborhood school next year. Just because if I move around to different schools, we don't want her to be moving around. Like, she can just go to the neighborhood school. So those are the things that have been happening. Aside from that, it's just the daily grind, right? Like, wake up, go to work, entertain 24 kids for 6 hours, come home exhausted, cook, clean, homework with your own kids, be a wife, be a friend. So it's been more than I expected. I've said it before to people that my expectation of getting back into the classroom was to, number one, get some breathing space. I felt really inundated with tasks and duties at my previous position in administration, and not necessarily supported in all of those decisions or the things that I wanted to do. So it was very draining. So I was happy to get back into the classroom and get back to the root of what was important to me in education. And secondly, it was to understand students and the needs of those students in Minnesota. My goal is to get back into administration now that I've been into the classroom for a year. And so I don't think that I would have been successful coming from out of state right into an administrative position, because I wouldn't have been able to offer teachers, stakeholders, students what they needed in their environment. So very happy that I had this experience, and that's where we are. So this video not only is about updates, where have I been, but it's also about this pandemic that we're in. What a crazy year. So I kind of want to talk about what teaching looks like now in the pandemic, and then I'm going to have a video coming up that is about interviewing during the pandemic, because I am, as I said, looking to get back into administration. And so my life right now is interviewing for those positions in a pandemic situation. So our school, our state actually seemed to be very conservative with the way they called off school. I'll say our district, because my oldest daughter is in a different district, and her school pretty much prepared for distance learning before my school did. So the Sunday before it was called off, like, we were all kind of doing our regular Sunday things. I was starting to get the Sunday blues, not because anything was tough, but it's just like March is a rough point of the year, no matter if you're in the classroom or outside the classroom. It's just that kind of dragging month. And so she got the call that her school was off, and I was like, and she had just been on spring break, so I was anxiously awaiting to see if it would happen for us, and it did. But as excited as I was, I didn't have to actually go to work on Monday with kids. I was also pretty anxious and concerned about what the next steps were. So for us, we got called off. March 16th would have been a Monday. We had to go in the 16th and 17th. The 16th, we met as a school to sort of talk about the what ifs and prepare like to-go packets and materials for students. We're very lucky in grades 2 through 5. We had 1-to-1 with iPads. So we need to make sure every student could take an iPad home. And then Tuesday, we came back to work in shifts to hand out those materials to parents that came in. The district also was really good about delivering materials to people who could not come pick them up physically. Then we had the rest of that week off. The following week, well, it wasn't off. We weren't in the building, but we were preparing for what we would do after spring break, because the next week was spring break. And then we rolled into our distance learning April 30th, I want to say, that last week. Sorry, excuse me, March 30th, that last week in March. And I'm so lucky. My team is like so amazing during this time. We talk once a week, sometimes more. We're constantly texting. We really all have a great positive attitude about who's going to do what. We have, as a school, jumped on board with Seesaw. And so for elementary, we present our lessons through Seesaw. We provide each student and parent a slide deck of our daily lessons, and we require 2 to 3 activities per day along with their specialist classes. So it is pretty on target for what we would do in class. And as teachers, we are recording lessons and uploading them to the slide. We are reading books and sharing pictures. But I just love how my team has come together to really get kids back on track and give them a sense of normalcy during this uncertain time. So for me, what it's like, I'm concerned about the pandemic. Let's take that out of the equation. That's the obvious. But I miss seeing my kids. However, as an introvert, I am excited to be home and not have to make excuses about going out. So there's that. But I do miss hearing from my kids when we reach out on Seesaw and they respond with a voice or a video. It's really heartwarming, and they miss me and I miss them, and I think they miss more so the classroom experience. And so we don't know what's going to happen from here. We are out until May 4th right now. Although most schools across the nation have canceled for the rest of the school year, or at least closed down the buildings for the school year, I think we're going in that direction. I think our governor is really mindful of what message that sends if you call off school now. And so we are in a holding pattern, and we're just kind of waiting. But my day consists of every morning, wake up about 7 still. And by about 7:30, I get onto my computer because our lessons and every activity needs to be posted for parents and students by 8 a.m. So about 7:30, I get everything that I've already prepared. I don't know why I said it like that. I wouldn't say like pre-prepared, but things I've done the day ahead, along with my coworkers' activities, and submit them for the day's lessons. And then I wait. So as students finish lessons, I approve their work. We give them a grade. We do standard-based grading, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I give them a grade on their completed assignment, reaching out to people who are not participating actively. And yeah, that's pretty much what our day looks like, along with my own teaching schedule. Obviously, I have my youngest. She's doing her work, which it's reasonably paced out for a first grader, so that's appreciated. And then my oldest has her work to do. Again, that's appropriately paced out. They have 8 classes during the day, and so they do 4 on Monday, 4 on Tuesday, Wednesday is the check-in day with their home-based teacher, then they repeat the cycle on Thursday and Friday. So it's working out. I think that everybody's really comfortable being home, and I think they are starting to understand the gravity of the situation now that we've been home for so long. But I think we're all just trying to make it through and trying to understand what's best for our students and our families and our own kids and their education. I think we're all going through the same thing. So I think my day as a teacher is a bit more extended now as I'm more available online, and I'm constantly looking at Seesaw to approve changes, comment to the kids. We weren't required to comment on everything, but I do like to comment on everything because I don't want any parent to feel like I'm just not doing anything. During my downtimes now, I have actually since March, I'd say 17th, that Tuesday after I helped pass out materials, I've been exercising every day. I bought a fitness bike at the end of December in hopes to do something inside when it wasn't nice weather. And so I've been doing that along with walks, along with 21 Day Fix or whatever Beachbody thing I want to do. And I've picked up reading a lot more. I've been really into some reading vlogs on YouTube. So I'm also part of a book club with other people. It's about 4 of us in the group, and we just pick a book each month. That started in January. So I've read a book called The Mother-in-Law. I'll put a picture. I've read Dirty Book Club. I've read most recently Bringing Down the Duke, which was really good. And I have read The Trials of Apollo Book 1 because it's YA and I just like it, so don't judge me. And I am rereading Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince because I was going through the whole series in order. I got stuck on book 4, Goblet of Fire, because it's not my favorite book. And I was like, hey, just forget it. I'm going to stop Goblet of Fire for now and then go to book 6 because I remember reading the whole series. I raced through the last 2 books because there was so much happening and I wanted to get to the end and see what happened. So I'm going back through for detailed reading. And I'm just really enjoying the time that we get to spend with family. Lots of board games, lots of Nintendo Switch. I'm obsessed with Animal Crossing right now. So I am building my island and making that a thing. But it's definitely a different time. I don't think anybody has lost sight of how weird of a time this is and how necessary it is for us all to stay home. I think we're all just trying to find things to keep us occupied and to not feel like we are stuck at home. So that's what's been going on with me. I'm hoping to add more videos and content more regularly. As I stated, I'm going to do a video about interviewing during the pandemic, what that is like, my experience with it, and then some great resources that teachers can use and things that I'm doing to keep my kids, great resources and things to keep my kids, my own students, ready and prepared for whatever comes next. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can comment and subscribe. Bye.